So in the world of growing, there are about 4 different categories of plants. You have your ornamentals, you have your vegetables, you have your herbs, and today we're going to be talking about that 4th category of plants. You guessed it, fruit trees. Today we're going to be going over all of the fruit trees that I have growing here. It's a really exciting topic for me because fruit trees are actually kind of how I got into gardening. I really just started about 5 or so months ago, maybe not even. And it started because I had a lemon and I'm like, you know what if I, instead of having a lemon, had a lemon tree? So I planted the seeds, of course, and from there now I'm running a YouTube gardening channel. So it's exciting. So I definitely want to share that excitement with you guys. What we have for you today is I have a whole gigantic bowl of starfruit, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut one of those starfruit open and we are going to get out its seeds. Then we're going to try and plant that. So without further ado, hit that like button if you haven't already, and let's get into the video. For fruit trees, there are mostly 2 types of seeds. You have your seeds that need what's called cold stratification, and then you have your seeds that don't. So, what is cold stratification, you might be wondering? Cold stratification is the natural process that fruit trees, or really just any tree, but we're caring about fruit trees, that they go through to basically overwinter. So what happens is a tree will produce a fruit, right? Okay. And that fruit will fall to the ground. It'll either decay or get eaten by animals. And then when that happens, what's left is the seed, and the seed will just lay on the ground. The winter will come. Not in Florida, because what's winter? But, you know, in places where seasons exist, the winter will come and the seed will freeze over. And the seed basically, through evolution, has a way of knowing when it's not supposed to die and it's supposed to just be frozen. So that works somehow. Nature's cool. In the springtime, the seed thaws, and then it knows that it's been through cold stratification, and it starts sprouting up. So what humans have learned to do is you can force that process by throwing seeds into a baggie with paper towel and water and putting them in the refrigerator for, depending on the seed, a week to 2 or 3 months. So we can, even in Florida, simulate conditions necessary to grow a deciduous fruit tree, or like a northern fruit tree, here. What we have here is 3 either nectarine or peach seeds and 1 apricot. The apricot is really interesting because you see how it's cracking there? These are basically going to turn into what are known as seed leaves. The seed leaves are the first leaves that a plant has, and that's basically the nutrients that are going to feed the plant. To show you what's going to happen with an apricot specifically, I have another apricot here. So down somewhere in the soil, this was growing through this little tip here. This is the root, actually, so the top of the plant will grow through the top, like that, and then this root will send down. So it turns into a little apricot, which is really cool. This one has been cold stratified. Now, a lot of seeds don't need cold stratification like this. Some seeds, like anything you're gonna see in the tropics, okay, so you're talking grapefruits, you're talking lemons, mangoes, or starfruit like we're gonna work with today, they don't need cold stratification because there's no winter in the tropics. After the seed stage, we have fruit. This is a starfruit, if you guys have never seen it. This starfruit is kind of gross because we picked these off of the ground beneath a starfruit tree that I posted on my Instagram story. Go check it out. The fruit we're using is off the ground because the older a fruit is, the more viable its seeds are. Now, we have varying stages of decay here. This one is, you know, quite nasty looking. There were actually bugs on it when I picked it up. But anyway, I cleaned it off. It's fine. It's okay. It's sanitary. Don't worry. So we're going to see which seeds work the best. I'll do a couple different cups with some seeds from this one, and I don't really know how many there are, but we'll get a good amount. So we're going to cut these open. Now, usually people cut starfruit across, like this to get a star. In fact, I'll do it just to show you, because I know in Florida starfruit isn't that uncommon, but to some people it might be. So this is what a starfruit looks like. It's called that because it looks like a star. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get some of these seeds out. I don't really know what the best way to do this is, but what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut along, like downways, down the long part, but not directly in the center, so I can see if the seeds will come out. So let's try that. No idea if this is going to work right. And honestly, this fruit looks probably safe to eat, but I'm not going to do that because it's been sitting next to this rotting fruit. So let's just keep cutting. So far we're looking pretty good. So there's some fruit. Smells pretty interesting, I'll tell you that. Trying not to break the seeds here because we don't really care about the fruit. Yeah, so we'll get rid of all this fruit. And I see the seeds. They're kind of like appearing through the flesh here. Let's see if I can cut this without breaking them. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna scrape out their goopiness. Truthfully, I've never actually seen a starfruit seed because when you eat starfruit, you just eat the seeds. But this is kind of cool. What we got out of starfruit cutting, we have 3 different seed groups. This one is the most fresh. I'm not gonna pick through this bucket of flesh to show you which was which. But the first one I was cutting open, that's this. That's this. And then we have the littler one, which is a little bit more ripe, and then we have the one that was really gross, and that's right here. I'm going to plant a few cups of each, and we're gonna see which one works the best. So I'm going to label them. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of the little seed markers that I had for my seed video, but I have some of the green stretchy tape that you use to tie stuff. I can write on Sharpie in that and just stick it in the dirt. So we'll keep track that way. What we're going to do now is we're going to plant these, because these do not need cold stratification. They are a tropical. Let's get planting. We are going to use our Jiffy cups. We're going to use our seed starting mix that we used last time. That's the mix for seed starting. So, just gonna get a healthy scoop in each one of these cups here. Alright. Fill all these up. Alright, now we're gonna water them in. This might make a mess, but it's a floor. Yep, there's the mess I thought would happen. I filled the soil cups with soil, and the soil is really dry, so I had to kind of force water into it by mixing it with my fingers. So, yeah, we made a bit of a mess, but it's fine. It's just water and stuff. What we need to do with the seeds first is, you see this goop on it? That's basically like a gel. It's fruit flesh, so we need to get that off. To get that off, what you can do is you can kind of peel it off, or you can just run it under water. So while this could go on, I'm gonna go run them underwater, and then I'm going to come right back. We needed to get rid of the goop because if we don't, that stuff acts as an inhibitor. The plant in the wild will rot out, and it will prevent the seed from germinating until it does. That's kind of just how it works. So we speed that process up by getting rid of it. There's no right way to do it. I just put it in a little container and messed around with my hands. But the only wrong way to do it is to not do it. So now that we got most of the goop off, I'll just kind of like dry the seeds here as best I can. I mean, you can see there's still a little, but it's not going to be perfect. We just really want to give them a way to break through that little gelatinous barrier, because if we don't do that, they're not going to grow at all. I'm really excited to see which seeds grow first. Which seeds grow at all. You think the old ones, the young ones, or the ones in the middle? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and we'll keep you up to date on that. I personally have a hunch the older seeds are going to work the most. They're dried now. Now we just need to put them in cups. As I mentioned in my seed starting video, there's no perfect rule, but you want to kind of go, the bigger the seed, the deeper to plant. So for a seed that's fairly large like these, I would go about a ½ inch into the soil. So I'm going to make a hole. Yay, hole. Alright. Then we're going to put half of each type of seed in each hole, basically. So this one's going to get 3, and I have 7, so the other one will get 4. Normally I wouldn't do that many seeds, but these aren't seeds I bought from a nursery. I mean, it came off a tree. So we'll just put as many as we can. We really want it to work. I'm telling you guys, fruit trees are really cool because while they do take time, the concept of growing fruit from a seed without having to buy like $100 tree from a nursery is pretty neat, if I say so myself. Especially something that costs... I saw Starfruit in the store for $2.50, and they were smaller than this rotting one, okay? The Starfruit that was fresh on the tree that I have in the house, it's like twice this size, okay? Twice that size. It's crazy. Grow your own fruit, guys. It's really cool. So we have the least rotted fruit, the medium rotted fruit, and the most rotted fruit. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have little labels, is I'm going to use this tape. Don't be afraid to innovate in the garden, guys. It's you know, it's your own style. It's whatever you got on hand. Let's grab this Sharpie here. So I'm going to say least rotten. Rotten. Oh my god, I can't write on this thing though. Alright, yeah, this is definitely a strange way to go about this, but hey, whatever. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that 6 times and we'll be right back. These plants are all labeled. Least rotten, medium rotten, mostest rotten. Now, we're going to do the classic set and forget. So I'm going to just put them in this porch area somewhere. Here, I guess. I don't know. Somewhere over there. Yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to talk about a couple other things that you need to look out for with fruit trees. What comes after planting your fruit trees is you need to make sure that you keep them watered. As I showed you earlier, I had watered this little apricot right here, right? You guys had saw him earlier in the video. What you need to do is keep the soil moist, but not wet. If you make it wet, the roots are going to rot out, and if it dries, you're going to kill the seed. Not 100% guaranteed it will die. There is no question about it. You need to baby these things because they are basically babies. But if you do that, you're going to end up with some good looking plants. So right here what you have is our best apple sapling. I'm very proud of this sapling. It took a while to grow. This is from a store-bought apple, as all of my fruit is store-bought. You might not have very much success growing an apple. That is because it is a hybrid. A lot of fruits are hybrids, so you never know what you're going to get. The genetics could be really bad. This one turned out really well, but, well, you can look at its neighbor. It died. It's a little sad. This one died because it was in the sun for too long. I was trying to harden it off, and this genetics was clearly just not rivaling the other one. So be expecting to lose a few of your seeds. That's why we planted so many Starfruit. I wanted to show you guys how I water. For watering, I take off the head of my watering can here. You can do whatever. You can also use like a little bottle that you puncture thumbtacks through. But what I'm going to do here, I'll water one of our little grapefruit seedlings here. This one is one of the fruit trees that we do not gold stratify. So I'm going to water this. Just, you know, don't hit the leaves. That's really important. So if you hit the leaves, what's going to happen is you're inviting the soil to splash onto it and stick, and when that happens, you're going to cause disease on your plants. So don't hit the leaves. You can see the water leaking out the bottom, or maybe you can't, but it is. That's fine. That is just because the soil is so dry because these cups are so small that you kind of have to water them every day, and it kind of just rushes through. So you water a couple times, even though it looks like it's overwatered. I watered this twice. You can also feel it. Like, I'm using these little seed cups. It starts to feel heavy with the water, so you can see it dripping off. But the soil's getting darker, and it feels heavy, so this one's probably good. So I will do the same with all the other saplings. I do that daily, but that's not the point. The point is make sure you water. Another fruit we have growing, these little guys in here, those are actually strawberries that I grew from seed. There were 17 of them, and now there are 5. These are another hybrid. They're very, very finicky to grow from seed. One thing that I notice keeps happening is the soil dries out fast, and if you don't catch it instantaneously, they just die. That's it. And they take forever. They take absolutely forever. Don't get frustrated if you're growing strawberries or blueberries, anything with a really tiny seed. Other fruits we have that I'm actually very pleased with their results. So the one I'm holding here is mango. I showed this in the first video on the channel. It's called The Overview, go check it out. This mango is doing really well. It's got these droopy leaves. Mangoes are interesting because they like kind of grow in growth spurts, so it's kind of look like the same thing for like a month now. But that's okay. It will grow. It just takes a lot of energy. So we have that one. That's from seed. We have this lemon. I showed you grapefruits. They basically grow the same way to the point where you can almost not even tell the difference. The only difference is right in this little groove by the leaf. See that little groove there? Yeah. So I forget the scientific terms, like petiole or something. Who cares? Point is, that's the only way to tell the difference. These don't have it. The grapefruit do. I think you can also crush them, but why would I crush my plant children? They're cute. So that's lemon. I have 3 of those. And this last thing is probably the coolest one. This is our pineapple. It grew from a top. The top is on this side. Usually the top will grow a plant, but this one just sent out what's known as a sucker. And the sucker is just taking over the plant. So it's really cool to watch grow. We're expecting a pineapple from this in like 8-9 months at best. Maybe pineapples are slow plants, but it's really cool to watch the life cycle of it. Over time, it'll send out more suckers from this plant once this plant takes over the bottom one, and we'll get more pineapples that way. It was very fun to grow fruit trees, and to actually get to finally show you guys my favorite hobby with gardening. It's definitely not the most typical thing. You know, usually you're going to be talking about your tomatoes and your peppers and all that stuff and all your vegetables, but look, guys, I love fruit. I'm obsessed with eating fruit, and I really am fascinated by the idea of actually growing my own without having to go buy it. Because look, Starfruit, $2.50 in the store. Pineapple, I don't know how much, but probably more than that. A lemon, freaking $1. Okay? That's one fruit. A tree produces thousands, so I mean, it just seems like common sense, right? You don't need to be a mathematician. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun making it. I hope you guys will go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell your friends, you know, just get the channel out there. We gotta get off the ground, people, off the ground. We're gonna keep you updated with all the fruit. It's gonna be sweet. Check out the Instagram, check out the Facebook, and until next time, guys, we'll see you.